We're going to go ahead and get started. Welcome to How to Get Accepted by UC Berkeley and UCLA. I'm Dan Lee, and I'm here with Vitaly Borishan, and we are the co-founders and senior admissions consultants at Solomon Admissions Consulting. First off, I'd like to introduce our college admissions consulting team. It's composed of former senior admissions officers at Ivy League and other top 15 universities and top 20 universities. It includes the former Associate Director of Admissions at Cornell, former Senior Admissions Officer from UCLA, former Senior Admissions Officers from Yale, MIT, Columbia, Penn, Northwestern, and other top schools. How do UCLA and UC Berkeley evaluate applicants? Calculating your UC GPA. So at the UCs recalculate your GPA for admissions purposes. So the way they recalculate your GPA is they only look at your sophomore and junior year grade. So if you did poorly freshman year, that's good because in a lot of ways that's simply not going to count in your UC GPA. The UCs only look at your academic courses, so they don't look at classes like physical education or how to type or band or orchestra. They also look at the difficulty of the academic courses taken. So if you've taken AP courses, that's going to be better for your UC GPA. The most important factor, what is the most important factor determining your chances at UC Berkeley and UCLA? The most important factor is your recalculated UC GPA. So here are the average admitted GPAs and for the different colleges and schools at UC Berkeley and UCLA. So if your GPA is not comfortably over these averages, then the essays are critical for admission. So a 4.2 average is the average admitted GPA for UC Berkeley College of Letters and Sciences and for UCLA College of Letters and Sciences. And so the College of Letters and Sciences is basically the equivalent of the College of Arts and Sciences at most other universities, which includes the humanities and the basic sciences. You need a 4.3 plus average to meet the average admitted GPA for UC Berkeley College of Engineering, not including the EECS, which is Electrical Engineering and Computer Science, and also you need a 4.3 plus to meet the average admitted GPA for UCLA Henry Samueli School of Engineering and Applied Science. And the hardest UC college or program to get into is the UC Berkeley EECS program, the College of Engineering, and that's Electrical Engineering and Computer Science. And the average admitted GPA for EECS at Berkeley is a 4.4 plus. So what is the difference between UC Berkeley, UCLA, and the Ivies? Unlike the Ivy League, UC Berkeley and UCLA use an aggregate point rating system where points are added for factors such as academic record, test scores, extracurricular activities, leadership positions, and overcoming hardship. UC Berkeley and UCLA admit applicants who are well-rounded as opposed to at the Ivy League where students who are well-rounded generally get rejected. The Ivy League generally admits students who are specialists who are the best at one thing as opposed to students who are well-rounded. And unlike the Ivy League, UC Berkeley and UCLA do not employ affirmative action. So how do UC Berkeley and UCLA evaluate engineering applicants? For College of Engineering admissions at UC Berkeley and UCLA, there is a higher average GPA and higher average SAT, ACT score for admitted applicants. Female applicants are underrepresented and also given an admissions boost, and the engineering faculty are often on the admissions committee, which means there's a focus on academic achievements, research in engineering, and interest in STEM fields. For the College of Engineering admissions at UC Berkeley and UCLA, engineering applicants must address the why engineering question in UC essay prompt number 1, and we recommend that you spend about 650 words on the first prompt. And the first prompt for the UC asks you to describe the world you come from. For example, your family, community, or school, and tell us how your world has shaped your dreams and aspirations. So if you're applying to the College of Engineering at UC Berkeley or UCLA, you have to address why you want to go into engineering and your interest in STEM fields in this first essay. If you don't, you lose a lot of points. I want to briefly discuss a backdoor into computer science at UC Berkeley. So you can apply to major in computer science in the College of Letters and Science instead of the College of Engineering at UC Berkeley. And there's a lower GPA bar for admission. For computer science in the College of Letters and Science, it's a 4.2 average to get in versus a 4.4 plus to major in computer science in the College of Engineering. You get the same technology company interview opportunities as computer science majors in the College of Engineering if you major in computer science in letters and science at Berkeley. Transferring internally between different schools or colleges. So let's discuss the difficulty of transferring. Really depends on where you want to transfer. So if you want to transfer internally at, let's say, UC Berkeley to letters and science from engineering, it's not difficult to do. However, if you want to go the other way and you want to transfer internally at UC Berkeley, once you're admitted from letters and science to engineering, that can be incredibly difficult, and it depends on the availability as well as how well you do in your prerequisites math and physics courses. How to write the UC Berkeley and UCLA personal statements. What is the second most important factor determining your chances at UC Berkeley and UCLA? It's your personal statement after your UC recalculated GPA. So let's talk about the personal statement. For College of Letters and Science admissions at UC Berkeley and UCLA, UC essay prompt number 1, which we've already described for College of Engineering, where you need to address why engineering, is describe the world you come from. For example, your family, community, or school, and tell us how your world has shaped your dreams and aspirations. And we recommend you spend about 650 words on the first prompt. You can spend a total of 1,000 words on the first prompt and the second prompt combined, but the main essay is the first essay, so we recommend that you spend more of the words on the first essay. So for letters and science, we actually recommend that you recycle your common application main essay, often because, you know, a lot of times you want to make sure for UC prompt number 1, if you're applying to letters and science, that you do not start out with a cliche opening. For example, quote, I come from a world of first-generation immigrants who made sacrifices so that their children could succeed, unquote. That applies to about half the applicants to letters and science at Berkeley and UCLA, so you don't really want to start out with that. We recommend that you spend about 650 words on the first essay, which is the main essay they look at, and you really want to make a strong and unique impression on your reader. And if you read your essay and you feel like it could apply to hundreds or thousands of other applicants, you've failed at writing the essay. For all applicants to any college or school at UC Berkeley and UCLA, this is the formula you want to use for UC essay prompt number 2. So UC essay prompt number 2 asks, tell us about a personal quality, talent, accomplishment, contribution, or experience that is important to you. What about this quality or accomplishment makes you proud, and how does it relate to the person you are? Since this is the secondary essay, we recommend that you spend 350 words on this. And because the UCs use a point system to add up the level of involvement in different activities that you have, you should really use a UC essay prompt number 2 to talk about your most significant extracurricular activity in detail to pick up as many points as possible. And you got to make sure that this applies as long as you didn't talk about your most significant extracurricular activity in the first essay. You want to address leadership positions and accomplishments with respect to this extracurricular activity. And you want to address any academic achievements or interests if they apply to this extracurricular activity as well. And you want to address your passions. And this is kind of a kitchen sink essay format where you want to pick one activity that's the main activity and discuss pretty much everything you did with it. So you really want to throw everything in terms of leadership positions, accomplishments, academic interests, and passions revolving around that one extracurricular activity. And that's to pick up as many points as possible for UC essay prompt number 2. For all applicants to any college or school at UC Berkeley and UCLA, so UC essay prompt number 3, which is optional, but in reality it's not optional unless you have straight A's on your transcript, is provide additional clarification on important details in your application, such as honors, awards, activities. Share information regarding a non-traditional school environment or unusual circumstance. 550 words recommended. So this is basically the all-important addendum explaining poor grades. And by a poor grade, we're talking anything that is a B or below, generally, you know. So examples of more or less acceptable reasons for poor grades. The environment you grew up in discouraged educational goals and aspirations. You were forced to take care of younger siblings because your parents couldn't hire babysitters for one reason or another. Or you were forced to commute more than an hour to school. Obviously, there are other reasons for explaining poor grades, but these are just some of the reasons that are acceptable for explaining poor grades. And so this is very important because if you don't explain, let's say you had a bad semester and you got 3 Bs that semester, which is definitely on the low side for UCLA and UC Berkeley. If you don't explain those 3 Bs away, they assume the worst. They either assume that you're lazy or you don't care, and neither of those assumptions are good. So you have to explain your grades away using the third prompt. The other thing I'll point out with the third prompt is some people go overboard and write an additional essay about a third extracurricular activity. You should not do that because you have to be respectful towards your reader's time. And if the reader feels like you wrote something that doesn't really address the prompt, they're going to get frustrated and they're probably going to mark your application lower. Let's talk about strategic positioning for UC Berkeley and UCLA. So what is strategic positioning? Strategic positioning is simply a fancy terminology for making you stand out. So you're basically positioning your strengths against an institution's weaknesses. So if any of you watch tennis or are fans of professional tennis, a tennis analogy is if you ever watch Roger Federer play Rafael Nadal, you know, Nadal is a lefty and he's got that heavy topspin lefty forehand that goes straight to Federer's weaker one-handed backhand. So you're pitting your strength against the institution's weaknesses, and you're making yourself stand out. So an example would be that it would be more advantageous for an engineering whiz with science awards to market his or her strong engineering background at Yale, where not as many engineering majors apply, versus marketing that same engineering background at MIT, where he or she would blend into the crowd. So here's an example of strategic positioning at the UCs. An applicant with good extracurricular activities in linguistics, which is a highly undersubscribed major, wants to major in computer science, which is a highly oversubscribed major, in UC Berkeley's College of Engineering, and this person wants to work at Google afterwards. But this person has numbers well below the median for EECS in the College of Engineering. So the strategy here would be to consider applying to linguistics within letters and science, which is an undersubscribed major, instead, and then majoring in computer science within letters and science. So once you're admitted to letters and science, you can declare any major you want. And so you can write your essay about linguistics, and then you can switch over to computer science. So the essay strategy would be to focus on your interest in linguistics, which is an undersubscribed major, and that is beneficial because top colleges are always looking for students to apply to certain undersubscribed majors like linguistics. At Solomon Admissions Consulting, we provide one-on-one comprehensive college admissions counseling from former top 25 school admissions officers. So we help you with every aspect of the application. We help you with a personal statement, including topic and outline suggestions, and this is done by former admissions officers. We help you with strategic positioning consulting. This is advising you on how to stand out from the rest of the class, and this is also done by former admissions officers. We help you out with supplemental essays for all the top schools. We give you insider information on college preferences. For instance, you know, if you're applying to Brown, they look for students who are very independent, versus if you apply to a place like Columbia, they look for students who like structure because they have a core curriculum. We provide graduate school advising, and this is advice from former graduate admissions officers. We help you with shoring up weaknesses. We help you with recommendation letters. We work with students who are freshmen, sophomores, and juniors in high school to give them coaching on the best extracurricular activities to pursue, to position themselves to get into the best schools possible. Like I said, the top schools are not looking for well-rounded students. They're looking for specialists. We provide mock interview coaching, and we also help out with financial aid issues. So these are the 2014 average acceptance rates. we generally get students into the top schools at anywhere from double to triple, sometimes quadrupled average acceptance rates. And so if you look at the third column, which is the third column shows the average acceptance rates in 2014, and the fourth column, titled Solomon Admissions, is the acceptance rates for our students at those schools. So for instance, last year at Stanford, the acceptance rate was 5.1%. 23.1% of our students got into Stanford. The acceptance rate last year at Berkeley was 17.3%. 35.1% of our students got into UC Berkeley. And the acceptance rate last year at UCLA was 18.2%. 40.4% of our students got into UCLA. If you have any other questions, you can feel free to either call us or email us. You can reach me by email at dan.lee@solomonadmissions.com, or you can reach Vitaly by email at vitaly.borishan@solomonadmissions.com.